What's up, YouTube? This is David here with Jones Company Customs, and tonight we have here a 525 LST by Husqvarna. This is one of their bigger commercial string trimmers, and I just picked it up today. This is the LST. There's also an L and an LS model. This is the LST. We'll go over some of those differences here in a minute. A little bit about this. This is a 25.4 cc motor producing 1.34 horsepower. Overall weight is 10.36 pounds, and this is all according to Husqvarna's website, where there's other stats and information if you're interested in seeing that there. It's the 525 LST, and this has the X-Torque motor, and that's the only difference that I could find between this model and the LS model. Now, both this one and the LS model have the same size engine, the same horsepower rating, and I'm pretty sure they weigh the exact same as well. And the only difference I could tell was that this one has the X-Torque motor and the LS does not. And the X-Torque, for those of you that don't know, is what's called a stratified charge engine, and it's a completely different piston, completely different head. It's mechanically different, and it's a lot more efficient. According to Husqvarna's website, the X-Torque motors are about 60% more fuel efficient. So, I mean, sounds like you get an extra half a tank of gas or more per full tank of gas you put through this thing. And this model, the LST model, is only about $30 more than the LS model. So, I mean, you do the math. If you're getting an extra half a tank of gas for every tank of gas you put through this thing, then, you know, that adds up quick, and, you know, it'll pay for itself, essentially, in the fuel savings. Not only the $30 more that you pay for the X-Torque motor versus the traditional two-stroke, but, I mean, I would think over time in the fuel savings, it will just end up paying for itself. The MSRP for this is $339.99. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I paid for it at my local Husqvarna dealer. I put about a tank of gas through it today, and I love it so far. Before I move on, the L model, I just want to touch on that. It was about $50 or $60 cheaper than this one, and but it's a smaller motor, less horsepower, and I'm pretty sure it even weighs more. It might be lighter. I don't know. You have to look at the website if you're that interested in it. But the L is it looks the same. It does not have the metal skid plate on the bottom of the gas tank there, but it has the same basic design other than a different motor and minus the skid plate. But the LS and the LST are absolutely identical as far as I could tell from what Husqvarna's website shows, except for the X-Torque motor. So a little bit about this trimmer. Like I said, I got it today. Got it good and dirty as soon as I got home. Couldn't wait to fire it up, and it did pretty good. I was laying down some pretty tall weeds and grass with it. As I said, this has a little skid plate on the bottom here. You can see right there. And this is a commercial grade trimmer. This is not a homeowner grade. This is a professional home commercial grade. So, I mean, if you're a guy that's throwing these in and out of a truck, you know, or using them all day, I imagine that alone, just that little piece of metal on the bottom, will probably save you from cracking gas tanks and just extend the life overall of this piece of machinery. So yeah, it's got that neat little skid plate on the bottom. Another cool feature on this is this anti-vibe handle here. This was really cool, and it made this so comfortable to use. You can see here, this entire handle moves and twists completely independently of the shaft and motor, and it's an anti-vibe feature. It kills the vibration, and you can definitely tell a difference. I've definitely noticed in the past where, you know, using homeowner grade trimmers and other trimmers, you know, by the time you get done running one of these things for, you know, half hour, 45 minutes, or however long, you know, your hands feel numb and like they're tingly, and all the way up to your elbow even, your arm feels numb. But there's none of that with that anti-vibe handle. That was really cool. And that was honestly a big selling point on why I chose this model, was that anti-vibe handle. It's really cool and it works. Another cool feature on this model is this kill switch right here. So you push forward to kill the engine, and then it automatically goes back to the run position. It's spring loaded. So, you're never going to catch yourself in a situation where you cut your trimmer off for a second and then go to start it back a few minutes later and pull the rope 5 times and forget that you had your your kill switch turned in the off position. I've done that before. I'm sure most of us have, and you kind of feel really dumb after I guess I should have just checked the on switch. But not with this thing. It just automatically goes to the back to the on position every time. So you got a primer bubble here. You got a choke there. And I think after I very first poured gas in this and pumped that primer bubble maybe 10, 12 times to get fuel through the system, it's never had a drop of gas in it. And I pulled that choke up, and I think on the second or third pull, it got spark and tried to kick over, and so I pulled that down, pushed that down, and gave it another couple pulls, and it fired right up. And one thing that I was just tickled with about this trimmer was that after this thing gets good and warmed up, and you've been running it for a few minutes, if you cut it off, it is so easy to start this thing back. I've honestly never seen a weed eater that was this easy to start after it was warm. I mean, you literally just give it a quick little pull. I mean, just with your wrist right there. And I mean, it doesn't take much. You pretty much just have to pull it over once or twice, and it just fires right up. It's so crazy how easy this thing just starts right back up. And like I said earlier, I was laying down some pretty tall grass and some pretty thick stuff earlier as soon as I got it, and it was working like a charm. So yeah, anything these days is going to have a lot of plastic on it. I think pretty much between all the major brands, they've all got a ton of plastic on them. This does have some nice aesthetic features. I don't like, all this right here, none of that is absolutely necessary. I don't think that's probably room for a spark plug up there maybe. But like all of this, it's not really necessary, but if you're going to have a bunch of plastic on something, at least make it look cool. And that's exactly what Husqvarna did here. I mean, it looks really cool. It's very ergonomic. Anywhere back here where the muffler is, the muffler's on this side, none of this is hot. There's no chance of you burning yourself on this at all. I've watched another YouTube review of this when I was thinking about getting this trimmer, and I watched another guy talking about this same exact trimmer, and he was talking and complaining about how he had burned himself a couple times back there, and that Husqvarna needed to do a better job. And I don't see that at all. I don't see that being an issue. I definitely did not have that problem earlier. So I don't know what the deal was there, but the exhaust is right here. See if I can show it to you. See, there's the exhaust right there, and you can see right there it kind of blows this way. But this is definitely a tougher plastic here than the rest of the plastic you have everywhere else. I'm sure this is heat resistance, but I even set my hand like over this earlier, just like that, after I literally just running it, and I was just kind of putting my hand there to see what kind of heat was building up. And even right there, you could tell it was warm, but it was definitely not hot enough to burn you. I mean, you pretty much have to stick your finger up in there like that for it to burn you on this thing. But yeah, it's a great trimmer. I'd recommend it to anybody. And it just starts so easy. I can't reiterate. It was so crazy. I was cutting it off and starting it back up just because I just couldn't believe how easy this thing started. Literally, just by the time you get that compression stroke twice, this thing you didn't even have to pull the string all the way out. If you got that compression stroke twice, then it was firing right back up. So yep, I love it. I'm happy with it. Way to go, Husqvarna. Another great piece of equipment from Husqvarna. You guys have earned my business, and they should get yours too. Thanks for tuning in for my review of the 525 LST string trimmer from Husqvarna. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hopefully we can keep this content rolling for you guys. Catch you next time. See ya.